Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you my improved survival village. So as you may have noticed, recently on the channel, I have been slowly but surely, building by building, improving the standard villager survival village. It looks a lot like what we have on the screen right now. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the exact survival village that I chose to transform and overhaul. However, this is a good representation of the sort of village that you would find out in Minecraft. So I took this village right here and I transformed it into this. So as you can see, we have upgraded every single one of the buildings that we had just seen previously. Each one of these builds right here you would have found previously in the actual villager survival village, except I have taken them, I've upgraded them, I've transformed them, I've remodeled them, I've in a lot of cases placed them somewhere completely different in the village, and I have placed them in such a way that you can kind of like get to everything and you can get around everything, and you can actually use this as a nice working survival village if you wanted to. Every single one of these buildings, except for two of them, you will find in your regular run-of-the-mill survival village. So just to point each one of them out before we take a closer look at them, I transformed the villager hut. I also transformed the village blacksmith. I transformed the small village house. I transformed the village church. I also transformed the village butcher shop. I also transformed the village library. I also transformed the large villager house. I also transformed the well and the village farms. And on top of that, I added two unique structures. I added a nether portal, and I also added an ender temple because I thought that the villager village lacked them. Now, let me show you each one of the individual builds, and to let you guys know, you can make this yourself. You can absolutely make this village yourself. Each one of the tutorials you can find in a playlist. You can find it in the Transforming a Village playlist, and you could turn the village that we had right at the very beginning into this village that we have right here. So without any further ado, let me enter the village as you would expect to. So this is the entrance. I also added a bigger wall going all the way around the village. It's a simple wall, but I think it's a nice one. It's nothing like Donald Trump would make. We also have this nice little gate here, and this is how we enter. So this is the entrance to the village. As we walk through, you'll notice that we have a lot of lampposts. In the original version of the village, you had lampposts that look like this. I also transformed these because I thought that they'd look a little bit nicer. And I think that they really do add something to the actual village themselves. So, the first build that I chose to upgrade on the channel was the villager hut. You could find these structures in one of two ways. Sometimes you find them as a very small build and they have a fence on top of them. Other times you find them without the fence and they look a little bit more blocky. I wanted to go for a completely unique design on these, and these look like no other builds that you will find in the survival village. It functions very much as a very tiny home with a lot of space, and you can actually very easily use this as a nice simple starter home. Very cool build. This is the villager hut. Now, the next building that I upgraded, I do believe was the blacksmith, which we can find over here. As you can see, there's plenty of lampposts about the place. I did have to add some more. So this is the village blacksmith. It looks pretty good, doesn't it? It doesn't look too bad at all. The original version, I didn't think looked too much like a blacksmith. I thought that it looked, well, I'm not entirely sure what the original looked like, but we added a water source, as blacksmiths usually need to have, and I also added more lava, an anvil, and kind of like a cooling bucket. I also just made the interior ever so slightly bigger by adding a second floor, which you can come up to. We have some beds in here, you may have even seen the armor stand, we have some chests, and we also have a nice little walkway onto the roof of the blacksmith. Plus, I also added a nice chimney chimney coming out of the back to expel the smoke. Now, the next building that I upgraded after the blacksmith, I do believe that I upgraded the small village house. So I actually really like this. I like all of the village houses because not only are they like really cool upgrades and really cool transformations, but in a lot of the cases, the villager houses could also double as an awesome starter house. This is the small villager house. It looked a lot different beforehand. We now have this really cool snazzy outside area, so much so that the villager doesn't even want to leave. He's kind of doing a bit of gardening. He's not even the right villager for that. Inside, we have enough room for like a furnace, we have crafting supplies, we have a bed, we have plenty of room inside here, and it also does have its own unique style that you can absolutely tell it apart just glancing at it from a distance from all of the other builds, which is something that I've tried to maintain throughout the entire village. This is a small villager house. Now, the next build that I transformed, I do believe that it was the village church, which received one of the biggest overhauls next to the village library. So this is the church. I made the church a little bit better because I kind of like completely restructured the way that you would enter the church. Previously, it looked like a big giant stone boot, and you entered via the back. I changed that around. You now enter the church through the front, and we now have a better setup. We have seats. We have like a place for the priest or vicar or village whatever guy to speak from. And we also do have, I don't actually know what happened here, but we used to have floors in here. We actually had floors that we could walk up and down, that we could actually keep stuff in. I actually have no idea what's happened to the floor that used to exist here. I promise you that there used to be a floor. You can see the the chests and stuff, but it doesn't matter. And you can see that despite the general shape changing, the general structure, the interior changing as well, we also added a cross, and I also added a bell to the actual tower as well, and I also added kind of like, on a lot of churches I noticed they have a lot of like metal twisted things up on top of the roof, so I sort of added that as well. In some cases, I also added a little bit of a graveyard area here as well. You could easily add tombstones to these bits of podzol, and they'd look like little graves, but I kind of removed those just because I thought that it was a little bit morbid. But yeah, this is the village church. I believe that this received the second biggest overhaul out of any of the villager structures. Now, let me show you the next thing that I upgraded, because I'm pretty sure the next thing I upgraded was the village butcher shop. So this is the village butcher shop. This didn't receive a massive upgrade. It didn't need to. I made the outside look a lot better. I also made the outside fit the theme of the general village. We've added a lot of different colors of wood. We've added a lot of depth with the builds. I upgraded the little farm that we have out back. We have a chicken now. We have a pig. We have a little pigsty. We have troughs. We have water. If you enter the actual butcher's interior, I also changed it a little bit as well, just to make it look a little bit nicer. We now have a cash register. The little... How did you get in here? I'm pretty sure that I closed the door on you. We also have like the whole little area in which you'd buy the stuff. It's just been upgraded. We have meat on the wall. We have some nice paintings, and we also have a little bit of a nicer place to sit and eat as well. And that is the villager butcher shop. I don't think that it's massively different from the original, although it does look a lot different, but it hasn't changed that much structurally. Now, the next thing that I decided to remodel and transform was the village library. The village library needed a massive change. The original version actually looked like a house. However, it wasn't a house. It was never meant to be a house. It was meant to be a library. So, a lot of the changes on the outside aren't too massive. We did, however, have to make the building a little bit bigger as well. We had to extend the building back by one row. We added a framework on the outside to create depth, and we also had to we had to basically just add this bit coming out of the front middle section of the library so that we could open it up and we could structure it more like a library. This isn't how the original version looked even a little bit. And if we come inside here, we actually have a pretty cool interior to the library. So this is the reception desk. This is where you take books out. We have books surrounding the entirety of us. We can walk up and along the bookshelves, and we have another reading area upstairs, and we even have a balcony outside of the library area. Very cool, very recognizable building, and like I said, I think that this required the biggest overhaul, and I'm glad that I did redesign it so much because I really didn't think they looked like a library at all. Now, the next building that I decided to upgrade was the large villager house, which we can find over here. And just like with the butcher, I don't think that I really upgraded the villager house. I don't think that I overhauled the large villager house in such a drastic way as I did some of the other builds because I didn't think that it needed it. The main thing that I did, I added a back porch coming out of the back of the villager house. I also added a chimney. Those are the main things that I did, other than, of course, adding all of the wood and adding all of the depth and creating a nice rustic look to this house, because it did need it. And like I said, it didn't require a massive overhaul. This is the large villager house. It wasn't too bad to begin with. Now, the next two things that I upgraded were... So I upgraded the villager well, which you can see over here, and I did consider adding another well. The village well really wasn't too bad at all. It didn't require that much overhauling, but I shrunk it by one block. I knocked a block off the top of it, or the bottom of it. I added a water bucket to the well, which is the cauldron, connected together using the oak wood fence, and I kind of just added a little bit of a roof, and I spruced the place up a little bit. It's a pretty cool well. It doesn't even have to be used in the village. It could absolutely be used in your very own survival village. It doesn't have to be part of anything. It's just a cool well design that I thought fit in well, get it, with the rest of the village. And the last thing from the original villager village that I chose to upgrade were the village farms. Now, I'm very proud of these because the original village farms are very, very boring. There's actually nothing wrong with them. They're a nice farm, they don't take up too much space, and they're quite economical. However, I took those farms and I kind of hollowed them out a little bit. I made it so you could walk around the farms. We have all of the crops in the center of the two farms with a little bit of water to keep them all growing. We added some bushes. We added some nice archways, and we just have a nice little farm. This is actually the second farm that I upgraded. The original version of this looks a little bit better. It looks a little bit better than that, although we don't have any crops here. So you can see that we also have the archway in between the two farms in the middle. Very, very cool design. This is the village farm, and this is the last aspect of the village that I chose to upgrade. Now, the two structures that I chose to add, and funnily enough I added this one first, I added an ender temple to the actual survival village. I thought that it'd just be a nice, cool addition. I figured that the villagers might be curious, they might want to go to the end, so I added an ender temple. Whether or not you think that this deserves to be in the village is kind of up to you. This is just a cool design that could easily be applied to absolutely any village or town that you might be working on. And yeah, I don't know what else to tell you about it. It's a nice big area that you can store your ender portal. You're not accidentally going to waddle into it by accident. It's elevated. You have to really try to get in there. This is a nice ender temple. If you wanted to add it, I'd suggest doing it, but it's not necessary. It does stick out a lot. However, a build that does not stick out, that does very much fit in here, that I think is 100% necessary, is this awesome Stargate looking Nether portal. So this is a Nether portal, as you might be able to tell. I took the Nether portal, I upgraded it, and I thought that it'd actually have a really cool place in this village. I think that it fits in really well. I think that it's a really cool centerpiece. Like if this was in the center of the village and everywhere was kind of like centered around this, I think that it'd make a lot of sense and it would look really, really awesome. Now, again, this is just another cool build. You could add this to your own village if you wanted to. You don't have to add it to the villager village, but I do think that it absolutely deserves to be here, and I think that the villagers would be curious about the Nether. Even the sheep are curious. This guy kind of wants to go in there. Can I actually give him a bit of a push to go in there? Yes, I can. Have fun in there, friend. It's not going to be great for you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is actually every single aspect of the villager village. I, of course, did upgrade the lampposts, but I don't think that those really need a separate tutorial themselves. I also added a wall around the village, and I also added a gate as well, as you would have seen at the beginning of the video. It's a very, very boring wall design. You guys would be able to copy that no problem. I'm sure that you could even come up with something a lot better, but this is the improved survival village. If you guys have enjoyed this series, I'm really glad. I hope that you did enjoy it. Please do give this video a like if you did enjoy the series, and I might even consider upgrading maybe a desert village, but I might upgrade a couple of structures before that. I was thinking at the very least I might upgrade a witch hut and see how you guys enjoy it, but I was thinking about doing a desert village. I think that might look really cool. Remember guys, you can find every single one of these tutorials to upgrade every single village building in both the card system and the description below. You just have to check the Transforming a Village playlist. Thank you so much for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember to let me know what you want to see next. Have a great day.